Welcome back to TBR. This is an episode where the story, I would say, is not only written in the book, and it's not like I've read it in the book first time. It's something that I have also experienced firsthand. Banned by Boria Majumdar, a social media trial. It happened that a cricketer, a famous cricketer, said that Mr. Boria Majumdar, who is a renowned sports journalist, had been threatening him to give interviews, and he leaked some personal WhatsApp messages on Twitter, and then began the social media trial. Lakhs of tweets every single day abusing Boria Majumdar and his family and his colleagues, one of whom is I'm myself someone who has worked with him, and I was also someone who was abused, who had to go through this social media trial for no apparent reason. But social media is something like this, right? It has its pros, it has its cons. This TBR will be a little different. So I told you about the book, but I have also asked the author, because when you're writing about something that you have personally gone through, it's a little difficult, right? And especially if it's a turmoil where you are a sports journalist and someone who covers cricket extensively, and suddenly you are banned for 2 years and you cannot interview contracted cricketers, you cannot visit stadiums, World Cup in your own country. So I asked Boria, how did he go through this all, and why did he write the book? So let's hear it from Boria. Why did he write the book, and what was it all about, and how did he feel when he went through this?
At the age of 8, and is shown photographs of her father in a dog leash. When your wife is abused day in, day out, your late father is brought back and called a bastard, what do? For 2 years I have soaked it all in, because it's important for me to have soaked it all in and understand what the social media trial is all about. This is my riposte.
Hi, welcome to today's episode. And TBR, we are starting in a different way. Boria, you know what I do in TBR. I generally read a book and review it. Now, this book is something that I have been a part of in a very, very different way. I have been your research associate for quite a long time now. But this was not research. This was something we all lived together for, as you keep saying, 730 days, unforgettable 730 days. I think also these 730 days was all about realizing a lot of things about power, a lot of other dynamics. So I will be questioning you about your book. It might be a little rough. If there's some question that you don't want to answer, it's fine. So, in this book, it's a powerful narrative of the dangers of social media trials, right? The book itself says ban the social media trial. What motivated you to share this deeply personal story in the world?
You see, till date, for the last 730 days, every single day, somewhere or the other, somebody or the other has abused me. People can, that's fine. You've abused me, you've abused my family, you've abused my dead father, you've abused my mother, you've abused my wife, my daughter, you've abused yourself as well, everybody who works with me. And it's abuse meaning the choicest of abuse. Not simply calling me a bully or that I threatened, calling me names and my parentage and my daughter being said that you've been born to a monster and my wife being called a prostitute and whatever. You see, I had asked myself this question every single day of the 730 days. That did I bully? Did I threaten? Did I want to end the cricketer's career, the cricketer in question here? Did I ever want to do anything or try to do anything that would harm him or the family? And every single day I got my answer. But if I said these things, and by the way, I was told that I am entitled and I'm powerful. If I was entitled and powerful, then I was the one who got banned, right?
Yeah.
If I was entitled and powerful, I wouldn't get banned. Now I've served my ban. And why now? Is because I had to go through this trauma. If I did not serve my ban, people will say the same. Trolls will say the same. I'm entitled, I'm powerful, I got away. I have served my ban. And I also know that when your program gets aired, we will get abuse. Yeah. So why tell this story? And I'm not an idiot. I know that while I say this story, I will face backlash. And having said that, there is something called self-respect. There is something called dignity. And more importantly, there is something, who am I? Am I a bully? Am I someone who threatens? Am I someone who wants to damage another person's family, which includes a daughter at the age of 8, which is the same age as my daughter, my own daughter? Who am I? I have to look you in the eye. I have to look my colleagues in the eye, my wife, my mother, my daughter in the eye and say, who am I? And I have my answer. I go to bed every day in peace because I did not do it. Yes, I was angry. I was frustrated. But who hasn't been frustrated and who hasn't been angry? And to get a 2-year ban for being frustrated and send a message? It's
to a friend.
It's a joke. Fair enough. The cricketer in question said multiple times that he did not want to harm my family. On his timeline, there were photographs of dogs with chains around their neck calling me he. That's fine. And by the way, dogs are more loyal than human beings. My mother was being called all kinds of names. My father was being called an arrogant bastard. He's passed away in 2000, 23 years back. My daughter who goes to school was being called names on his timeline. You don't want to harm my family? One message saying my issue is with the man, not with his family, not with his team, not with his company, not with his mother, not with his wife, not with his daughter. Restraint. Some kind of restraint. The truth had to be out there, Trisha. Can be delayed. Can't be denied.
In your book, you talk about the permanent scars that, the social media abuse has left in your family. But how did you and Shormishta mainly I would say you, Shormishta and Mashi, find the strength to navigate through such an overwhelming situation?
What else could I do? I wanted to do something to myself on the 5th of May in 2022. And when I say something to myself, something pretty serious and dire. I didn't have the courage. My daughter was sleeping next to me. My mother's blood sugar had shot up to 373. My sister was undergoing chemo for cancer. My wife was broken. I was destroyed. We did not even know if Rev Sports would survive. What else could I do? I looked at Aisha and I was like, one thing is to take my own life. And the other thing was, okay, if I do that, I didn't have the courage. She will live in disgrace for the rest of her life, knowing that her father was a coward and her father did this. Does she deserve that? Do you guys deserve that? As your editor, as your leader, do you deserve that? No. What else could I do? I had no option. I actually was left with no option. I was facing the entitled. I was facing the powerful. A national cricketer, by playing for India, is powerful. Way more powerful than I ever will be as a journalist. I had no other option but to serve this ban and make a comeback. Come back and tell my story. Come back and tell that even the underdog has a voice. Whether he is believed or not believed, who cares? I had the courage to come out and tell my story. My wife did, you did, my mother did. My mother, who's one of the most anxious people, she's 75, understandably so. She has diabetes for the last 20 years. I asked her, do you want me to tell the story? And she said to me in Bangla, Atmoshamman age, likhe de. So, how do I respond to my father? My father always told me, look, whether you have money or not doesn't matter. What you stand for has to be a set of values. He left us at 57 years old. In one of his photographs, somebody wrote, saying he was an arrogant bastard and deserved to die at 57. How do I answer that? I had to write the book. Because I can't go and beat anyone up. I can't scream from the rooftop. I can't do anything. My weapon was my words. The story had to be told. So that in future, when social media trolls get unleashed on one and a family and colleagues, people need to gather the strength to come back and tell their story and show some resilience. Not everyone survives. We did. Rev Sports is today 200 times bigger. God is kind. But the story had to be told.